Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson here.
Hello everyone, this is the interview queen Alicia too.
This is the infamous Cameron Solis.
This is the professional Nathan Cruz.
This is Benji.
This is the Callahan Death Machine in the draw, and the face of Impact Wrestling, Sammy Callahan.
The one and only chocolate under Willie Mack.
This is Shreddy Breck, aka Mr. Clangin' and Bangin'.
And you're listening to...
You are listening to
Broken but Glorious.
Broken but Glorious.
Broke but glorious. Hey, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Broken but Glorious. I'm Chris Lappin. I'm delighted to be joined on the line by the natural born Scallywag, Joey Marcus. How does
Ahoy!
You well?
I am good. Best I can be during the lockdown.
Are you surviving lockdown?
Yeah, I can't sail anywhere at the moment, so sitting in the bedroom is the best I can do.
Have you been binging any series or anything? Or?
Just a lot of wrestling.
Yeah. Cool. You haven't been like binging the Pirates of the Caribbean or Treasure Island or anything like that?
I started playing what's it called? Sea of Thieves on the Xbox. Started playing that.
Oh, my son's playing that. Yeah.
It's not as good as what people made out to be, so I was quite disappointed.
No, I've not seen it. Yeah, I just hear my son and his friends talking about it. So I was going to ask if you're a huge fan of Paul Birchall growing up, but then you're younger than I thought you were.
No, I'm only 20 now. I had to think of that. It's been that long since I've been outside.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought you were a bit older, but yeah, it's probably just before your time, the Pirate Birchall.
I'm a lot older than I am.
So who was your favourite wrestler growing up?
I know it sounds really marky, but CM Punk, because I only started watching in 2011. The first thing I ever watched was the 40-man Royal Rumble.
Oh wow, that's a good introduction.
Yeah, that was 2011, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember Del Rio won that, and that went to WrestleMania 27.
Yeah.
That was his last match. Well, second to last match now. So during that time, Punk was in the Nexus in the Rumble, and because he was one of the first out, and Nexus dominated that Rumble. Like, I just kept my eye on him. I was never a John Cena guy.
No, I've appreciated John Cena a lot more in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Looking back now to what, especially the Ruthless Aggression series that the network uploaded.
Yes.
Watching that and how he almost got fired, you do appreciate him more and more over the years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, CM Punk was one of the reasons I came back to wrestling. So I heard that ECW was coming back in 2006, so I started. I'll go watch that, and it was CM Punk who kept me watching for a couple of years. So and I stopped watching again. And in 2011, my son got back into it about the same time. I've been watching it again full time. So, what prompted you to don the tights and get into the ring?
I wasn't going to do it. I always said that I would go, but there was never any schools that I could find around me. But turns out there was actually one right around the corner, like a 2-minute walk from where I live.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't like well advertised or anything at the time. And then I found it, and then I put it off for, I want to say, 3 months. But then my now fiance, she convinced me to go and give it a try, and I thought I hated it the first time, and then I thought if it's something I want to, like, because I'm not a quitter, like if I try something, I'll carry on trying, and here I am 4 years later.
Yeah, I've heard that if you can survive your first training session, you can probably. A lot of people go and they do it once and just they hate too much, they never back.
The amount of people we've had walk into the school and then not come back.
Yeah, my co-host Nick did one training session and then he said he's just too sore. So was CM Punk who you wanted to like mold your style around when you started training then?
When I started, I thought I could be a high flyer / brawler, little bit of everything, a multitasker.
Yes.
That is not what I've ended up to be.
No. So where did the idea of the pirate character come from?
My fiance had a obsession with mermaids, and I thought, oh, I'll be a pirate prince, you be a mermaid princess. Just joking around, and then it just happened like that, just from a little joke.
That's the best way things happen. Though, just organically. It's like
Yeah, I mean, it's
a little spark of inspiration in it.
Well, like when I first started wrestling, I didn't have any pirate gear. All I had was a bandana and some mascara. And then just before the lockdown, I had a match in Britannia Wrestling, a toilet roll on the pole match. Had that against Frontline from RWA, Lance Rivera and Jackson Clare.
Yeah, Lance is a member of our podcast, so he's actually tell you that he hates you.
Ouch. I love working, Lance. Worked him around 5 times in 6 months.
Yeah. He said he loves you, but hates you.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. But with that toilet roll on the pole match, I thought I debuted my new gear, and it was the first time I was I thought I actually had found a base for my character after 4 years.
Oh wow!
2 years on shows, and I finally I was happy with where my character was. I cut a promo beforehand saying about how the toilet roll is a great treasure out on the seas. And I was really into it. I thought, this is it now. This is where my character's going to start improving and getting seen elsewhere. And then we had the lockdown, and it was a bittersweet moment because that show was around 5 days before lockdown actually started.
Yes, I remember Lance wondering whether it'd actually be on.
Yeah.
So before we get on to your tag team, take us back to your first match. What do you remember about it? In hindsight, do you enjoy it? Have you been back and watched it?
I actually watched my first match back. What day is it now? I want to say
Friday.
I watched it back on Saturday with Connor Klein, and we were both bawling our eyes out, crying at it. It was so cringy. I wasn't ready to make my debut, but because I didn't make my debut for Britannia. I trained at Britannia, and then a company called Fusion Pro in Llandudno asked me if I thought I was ready, and an overconfident young Joey Marcus said yes. I was nowhere near ready. It was a tag team match. The crew, it was me and someone called Win Williams against Creeper from Basics and Dougie Matthews, also from Britannia, who made his debut then. Yeah. Me and Dougie have been crossing paths forever. We teamed at Wrestle Island, teamed at Marty Jones's Squared Circle, been against each other at Fusion, been against each other at Britannia. It's just always been intertwined.
This is the Playboy Prince of professional wrestling, Lance Rivera, and you are listening to the #1 wrestling podcast, Broken but Glorious.
Yeah, so you're a member with Dougie and the Scallywags?
Yes, the Scallywags, which was only meant to be a joke at first. We weren't actually meant to be on Wrestle Island until a day before. We just started it off as a joke, Scallywags, because I'm the Scallywag, and he's he calls himself a lad in training and whatnot. So I do graphic designs, so designed some stuff and just started sharing, and then I guess Peter liked it, and then a day before I got a message from Babyface Pitbull saying that we're doing a run-in at Wrestle Island. We were like, oh, okay. And then Paradox won the tag titles. We did a bit of a run-in. And then the next show, we helped Dogs of War win them back with another run-in. Power bombs, RJ into thumbtacks. Yeah. And then did another run-in the last show at the Rumble, the 3v3 where Paradox came out on top. And now we're just waiting on that match. The Scallywag, Scallylads and Dogs of War against Paradox. It's got to happen now.
Because it wasn't in it. Yes, definitely. I can't wait for that match to happen. Yeah, my son Joel asked, "Why do you hate Paradox so much?"
Why do we hate Paradox? Just don't like them. I mean, they came down to a Britannia show and started chatting a load of crap, and then the Wrestle Island lot came down and then started to cheer for the Paradox and talk a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
So the Scally lads had to sort of defend Britannia and invade a Wrestle Island show and sort of take our own back, especially since Ry Lloyd, who came from the same school as me in Britannia, turned his back on Britannia and went to the island. So this has been years behind the scenes, technically.
Yeah. That has made the last 3 Wrestle Island shows a lot of fun, having the Britannia section.
Same at the Britannia shows when we've got the Wrestle Island section. The atmosphere that it brings is such a better dynamic.
It is fun. Yeah, my son also asked what's with the traffic cones.
The traffic cones. Oh, right, okay. Me and Dougie went to an all-star show in Rill.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a argument outside the town hall when we were trying to advertise our shows. We were doing the DX invasion. But it backfired, and then the next week or a few weeks after, it was the Wrestle Island show, and we bought that just to do some shouting out and sing songs, and then Freddie Riley took that cone and put it on Ry Lloyd's head, and it busted him open quite heavily. And then the next show, Dave Faulkner put it on RJ Silver's head, and then RJ Silver lost a tooth. And then we decided that we would not bring it to any more shows because it was dangerous.
Yes.
None of them were our fault. We didn't tell them to get the cones. We only cheered when they picked it up. Whatever happened after they picked it up is their fault. But it just sort of, it worked.
Yeah.
If we ever did have a match, we need the cone to be involved somehow now. It's took out half a Paradox.
A traffic cone on a pole match, or I can't prevent it, Hannah. A traffic cone in a shark cage match. Yeah. No. I can't wait for this 8-man tag. If it happens at Wrestle Island rather than Britannia, to watch it. Or it happens because they're meant to have an Ellesmere Port show earlier this month, weren't they? So it could have happened there.
Maybe a day it was meant to be, but it had to be cancelled.
Popcorn Kid Jake Silver here. You're a Broken but Glorious podcast. Get stoked on it.
I've asked the Wrestle Island Facebook group some questions. First up, Jack Blower asks,
who would you like to wrestle when wrestling is back?
I've got around 4 matches I can think of right on top of my head. Obviously, Scally Lads versus Paradox.
Yes.
Scally Lads versus the Murder Squad, or Merseyside Squad. I can't say murder anymore.
Mercenary Squad. Merseyside Mercenary Squad, Connor.
Yeah. There's singles match. I would love to face off against James Reed.
Yes.
We're good mates outside of wrestling as well. I just think that'll be really fun. And then Scally Lads versus the Myats, Ryan and Keith.
Oh, wow. Yes. I think you versus James would be a good contrast in styles.
Yeah, I'm more of the comedic style, the entertainment style, and then James is a legitimate hard hitter.
He is. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of his matches this year. I think I've seen about 4. I've seen him about 4 times live.
James Reed is going to be one of the next people to blow up.
Yeah, I've interviewed him twice as well. First time there was so much background and we couldn't use the interview, so we came back on and the next one was like 45 minutes.
TNC, I listened to that podcast.
Yes. He was really a very good guy. Mike Angus, who's your favourite pirate?
I love Mike as well. My favourite pirate is either there was a cartoon years ago called Captain Pugwash, and I started doing some comedic stuff off that, and like promos and whatnot. And then you've got to say Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean, but I was watching the rest of them.
I only watched the first two. That was it.
Yeah. I didn't hear good things about the rest of them. And there's at least 5. I couldn't tell you what happens. Graham Fisher says, when you decided to go to wrestling, was everybody supported?
They were supportive, but they just didn't want me to get hurt.
No.
When I'm wrestling, especially in training, I'll just practice a bunch of crazy stuff. And I used to go back home and my nan would have a go at me because I would come in holding my arm or limping.
Yeah. Oh.
So she always said, just give it up. Not in like a bad way, but just because she didn't want me to be hurt.
Yeah.
And then I moved out with my partner. And she sort of, she doesn't like seeing me hurt either, but she's the one who convinced me to go. So technically it's all her fault.
Yeah. Ian Jones asks, who's your dream match, dead or alive?
It's got to be against Chris Benoit. Like, yeah. I've watched a lot of late 80s to early 90s New Japan recently.
Yes.
It's blew my head. Like, the psychology in the matches. Like, I've obviously not been able to wrestle. All I can do is work on the psychology part of it. Mm. And I'm going to switch up my style when I'm back because I think this will work a bit more. Like, if that Japanese wrestling had a bit of a comedic effect, just going to try and merge the two, see how that does. But Chris Benoit, like, it obviously didn't end the best, but no one can doubt any of his wrestling ability.
He also asked, what's your wrestling dream?
Well, I work in Japan. Like, if I could just have one match in Japan, I think that would make me happiest.
Yes.
But I've said Japan from, like, as soon as I started being in just any match in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, just the culture and how they treat wrestling as a legitimate sport. Just the atmosphere to be a part of as well. Like, that would be amazing.
I love the Japanese crowd. Everyone says that they're too quiet, but I said you have to impress them for them to make noise. So
yeah.
You're doing well if they get noisy.
When you impress them, they are off their head. Like, they are. I can't even think of the words. They just love it. It's like, I think the character that I use would be amazing in like somewhere like DDT.
Yes. You can win that crazy championship. I can't remember, it's got the metal weight.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. The heavy metal weight. Yeah, that's crazy championship where they've had like dogs have won it and cats have won it and then ladders won it and chopsticks have won it. Yeah, it's just like a crazy 24 hours, 24/7 type championship. Some massive names have won it as well. So, he also said we used to like the Scally lads. So what made him turn into an absolute arse? Is that
just Wrestle Island turned me into an arsehole. And them coming down and trying to invade the Britannia shows. And then when we did the same thing, they didn't like it. It's just me and Dougie took it a step further and decided to jump in the ring. But oops, I guess.
Last one, Graham Fisher again asks, who's your wrestling idol?
Well, like when I started, it was CM Punk, obviously. And then there was a period when I was like loving Seth Rollins. And then I moved to the Indies, Adam Cole. Then he joined WWE. And now it is probably Chris Benoit, like his in-ring stuff. Like, if anyone could imitate that, then you'll go in places.
This is James Reed, and you're listening to a Broken But Glorious podcast.
So, if you're a promoter and you're put in charge of promoting the Britannia versus Wrestle Island show, and I'll give you a match type, and if you tell me who you'd put in that match.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Cool. So who will be in the opening contest to get the crowd excited?
Get the crowd hyped. Probably Jack Griffiths.
Yes.
First Alpha Gen champion against Harry McKenney, the Island Prospect winner.
Oh, yes. That'll be an amazing match. Who would you be a comedy match?
Oh. Oof. That's hard. Lance Rivera is quite good at comedy matches.
Yeah.
So I'll put him on there. I'll put him on the Wrestle Island side. And then I'm going to say Chase Alexander. I've never actually seen him in a comedy match, but he is.
See him being very funny. Yeah. I think that'll just be a style off match. That'll be cool. That'll be fun. I really like. Your women's match?
Britannia don't really use any women anymore.
Right.
I just know in North Wales, as sexist as it may sound, but no one really cares about women's wrestling.
No.
Which is a shame. Like, the fans don't want it.
No.
It's like when you go down to Wrestle Island, you see all the wrestlers in the UK who are female, and most of the time they're better than the men.
Yes, definitely.
Like, women's wrestling has came along so much. I don't think it'll be long now before the fans start to like women's wrestling more and more in Wales. Women's match.
Well, we could change that to an intergender then, Matt. I think the women from Wrestle Island to put them against Lappin and Britannia.
Alexis Falcon.
Yes.
Against Dan Evans. I think we've still got to see that match. It didn't happen because Alexis did.
Poor Dan Evans, when he comes back, he's got the 2 Rumble winners, he's got the Power Up briefcase winner, and Cameron Solis just became number 1 contender. So he's got 4 people coming after him when he comes back.
It's going to be a busy year when wrestling's back on.
Yes. About a hardcore Extreme Rules type match.
Oh, God. Henry Grod and Sonna Durson, because they're now a tag team in Britannia.
Yeah.
Against RJ Silver and Andy Knox of Paradox.
Yes.
I know RJ is a big fan of deathmatch wrestling, and he wants to do as many as possible.
What about a tag team match? Straightforward tag team match.
Okay, Scally Lads versus the Myats.
Ooh. Yes, I'm really impressed with Keith Patterson, how well he's still doing. So
yeah, get on so well with Keith and Ryan. Like, whenever we on a show together at Fusion, or when we went down to Wrestle Island, they were against Steel Industries.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just give me and Matty advice. Like, they've said they want to wrestlers as well. And we're just pushing it everywhere we can. Wrestle Island, Fusion, Britannia, just someone get us this match. I was actually talking to Keith the other day, and we were talking about when we would have this match. So I posted something on Facebook, just trying to get someone to book it.
Oh, if you could have like a 4 corners match, you could have the Scally Lads versus Paradox versus the Myats, the Dogs of War, rather than have it.
I think that would be a good match. Along with just Scally Lads versus Dogs of War. I mean, we've sort of been their little lackey, like we helped them win their titles back. Then what if the Scally Lads then decided to turn on the Dogs?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Who would be the heels in that match?
Ooh. I guess it depends on where the show is. if it was a Wrestle Island show, the Scally Lads will probably be face because they all hate Dogs of War. But now they also hate us.
Right, so who would be your main events? Would you have a champion versus champion, or have you got two guys in there?
I've already used Dan Evans.
Oh yeah.
I would say Cameron Solis against Rye Lloyd, main event. That match does not need a championship involved.
No. That's a match I'd really like to see.
Like, all Wrestle Island, Paradox, Scally Lads stories to the side, Rye was a Rye was the first person who trained me, so I grew up wrestling, like my wrestling career with Rye.
Oh,
and
wow.
he is, like, along with James Reed, like, Rye's been in this business well over 5 years already, and he's not even started yet.
No.
Like, as soon as his ankle is better and his leg's better, and he's out that cast and training, like, he's going to take the UK by storm.
Yes, I've been really impressed with Ryan Lord since I've probably seen him wrestle for about two years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been impressed every match I've seen him in. So, right, so this is where I'd usually ask, where can people see you in the near future? But have you got any plans to entertain you and your fans over the lockdown? Or...
I was actually meant to be debuting in like 3 new companies this month in April, and they all got cancelled. So I was gutted. But all them companies have guaranteed that I'll be booked there in the future. I'm not sure if I can name who at the moment.
No,
but there will be some big things coming, and Joey Marcus will be sailing quite far out once this lockdown is over.
Yeah, hoping to get down south as well.
I mean, it's a little bit further than the UK.
Before we go, do you want to promote your social media?
Yeah, Instagram is Joey Marcus Pro Wrestler. Twitter is at Joey the Pirate. Facebook is Joey Marcus Pro Wrestling. And then I've now got TikTok, which is which is Joey the Pirate again.
What do you do on TikTok? It's just
TikTok,
dancing.
Just wrestling stuff. I uploaded a video. It's got like 8,000 views already.
Oh, wow.
So the Pirate's blowing up. He's still sailing across the world.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I've really enjoyed speaking today. I'd love to have you on again in the future.